Hello everyone, welcome back to Shrimpmania. Today I'm going to show you how to set up the shrimp tank using undergravel filter boxes. So this is the 90-liter tank I have, and I have two undergravel filter boxes. Many of you guys asking me how many boxes should you use. So the simple answer is, if you have a tank less than 70 liter, you can use one box. Up to 70 liters, I would recommend to use two boxes. So for example, this tank next to it is 40 by 40 by 40 centimeters, approximately 55 liters, and I use only one box. And this tank is the same tank as we're gonna set up. It's 90 liters, and I'm using two boxes. So I would recommend to start your tank without sponge filter and only adding sponge filter after your cycle completed. The reason for that is because you're gonna add a lot of bacterial powder on top of the soil, and it's supposed to be stay on the soil. If you add your sponge filter, is a lot of your bacterial powder will suck with the sponge filter. So that's why I recommend to use the sponge filter only at the end of the cycle. So today we're gonna use ADA Amazonia soil. Is a new version soil, and I think it's one of the best soil on the market for Caridina shrimp. So if you're planning to keep your Caridina shrimp, it's better to buy ADA Amazonia soil if you can get it. So that would be great. So let's open the bag and let's fill the boxes. Here you go, this is how the soil look like. It smells very earthy, like a fresh earth. Okay, as you notice, I didn't put any media or any sponge at the bottom of the UGF filter. I don't believe you need any media in your shrimp tank. As you can see, you have lots of soil here. The soil works as a media, and it's lots of surface area, so you don't have to use media. And media will take a lot of space in your UGF box, which is going to reduce the ability to buffer the pH because the less soil in the box. So I wouldn't recommend to use anything in the box except just the soil. And as you can see, this is the 2-liter jug, and it's almost full jug here, but this box is slightly less than 10 centimeters. I made it from glass. I think I made it 9 centimeter tall. So for the bigger box like this, which is 10 centimeter, you're probably going to use about 2 liters of soil. So again, we don't put anything at the bottom of the box. Let's fill this box. So for this volume of the tank, we're going to use about 4 liters of soil. As you can see, we can save a lot of soil if compared to traditional method. If you use traditional method, you're going to fill up the bottom of the tank about 5 centimeters, right? So it's going to use about 9 liters, 10 liters of soil for this volume of the tank, which is about almost 3 times more soil. So we can save about up to 3 times of soil compared to traditional method, with the same even better buffering the water. So this filter works very great to buffer your pH, because the water is constantly running through the filter. Make the soil works very hard, like 3-4 times harder than it's just sucking in the bottom of the tank. That's why this method is very economical, allow you to use a very little amount of soil with the same effect of buffering the water. And yeah, we're gonna check, because I haven't been used this ADA Amazonia. I used to use the old version. I have a bag here. So the old version works very good. I never used the new version, so we're gonna see how it's good for buffering the pH. I think in a few days, once we set up the tank. Not in this video, in my later videos, I'm gonna check pH and compare this soil to the old version to the new version, and let you know which soil is better. Here you go, the box is filled with the ADA Amazonia new version, and I have here another soil which is called Easter Shrimp pH 5.5, and I'm going to use this soil for the bottom of the tank. The reason for that, it looks a little bit more pretty. I'll show you that. Yeah, let me show you on this tanks. So not this tank, sorry, this tank. As you can see, the grains are a little bit small and have a gray color. Yeah, so this soil is look like this, so I like how it look. That's why I'm gonna use it. You can see in this tank as well, my blue ball tank. Yeah, so let me zoom a little. Show you little babies here. Yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna use this soil for this tank, and for the bottom of this tank, yeah. So I decided to mix it with a little bit of ADA Amazonia soil just to make a little mix. I don't know if it's gonna look good or not. We're gonna see in a minute. So the amount of soil for the bottom of the tank. So guys, another question you always ask me. I wouldn't recommend to use a lot of soil. So this is the main reason we're using UGF boxes, so we can use as minimum as possible soil at the bottom of the tank, and the perfect amount of soil is just enough to cover the whole tank with just 1 grain thickness of the soil. This is because you want to avoid the build-up waste inside the soil and creating the toxic soil. So this is the main issue for the old tanks when you have a thick amount of soil at the bottom. Once you feed your shrimps, the food particles and the feces of the shrimps will sink down inside the soil and then decompose, creating ammonia. And that's why we're making the bottom of the tanks with the minimum soil. So the main amount of soil we keep in the boxes with constant water flowing through the soil, and that's make the soil works much better, and we making the bottom of the tank free of soil, just a little bit amount of soil. And when I cycle the tank, I try to put the soil in one pile. I don't know, I just saw that many Asian breeders do that this way, and I just copy them. And I think the reason for that is just it's better to keep the old soil in one place, so you put the bacterial powder on top of the soil and it's all keep in the same place. And when the biofilm growing is growing inside the soil as well, and bacteria start to multiply in the soil, I guess that's why they use only just a pile of soil. I don't think it's look very good when I mix the ADA Amazonia with another soil. It's look a bit mixed size of the grain, but it is what it is. It should work fine. So we create a pile which is about this size of pile. I think it should be enough. Once you spread it over the surface, it should be enough. It should be about 1 grain thickness. So if it's not enough, you can add a little bit more soil later. It's no problem. Or you can just get soil from the boxes, put it at the bottom. Yeah, maybe a little bit more like this. Okay, here you go. We added the soil to the bottom inside the UGF boxes, and the next step is to add some bacterial powder on top of the soil, fill it with the water and start cycling this tank. I have some question from you guys, and you're asking me which bacterial powder I'm using, and I'm using the bacterial powder came from Shrimp Affair, and this powder is originally from Taiwan, and another guy you can buy it from is Tai Cheng. So if you're in Singapore, definitely contact Shrimp Affair. It's going to be cheaper to buy from Shrimp Affair, but if you're somewhere else, and you can go to Facebook and find this guy Tai Cheng is Taiwanese breeder, and this powder is world famous powder. I can see a lot of breeders use this powder, and it looks like this. I'm gonna show you quickly. So it's a yellow powder. This powder works very good for growing biofilm in your tank, and a lot of Asian breeders using this powder with a high success, and I highly recommend to use this powder. And rule of thumb is to use 1 gram of powder for every 10 liter of water. So I have a 90 liter tank here. I'm gonna use 9 grams of this powder, and it's including this spoon in a set, and that's mean 1 gram is 2 spoons like this. So for this tank I'm gonna use about 18 spoons like this flat, and that should be enough. I'm gonna put some of the powder on top of the soil at the bottom and on top of the UGF boxes. Let's do it now. Okay, here you go. We just added the powder on top of the soil. I approximately evenly distribute the powder over these 3 places, 2 boxes and 1 pile of soil at the bottom. So it's about 4 spoons for that, 4 spoons for that, 4 spoons for that. Make about 16 spoons, which is approximately 9 grams. Yeah, maybe 8.5, 9 grams. So now it's time to fill the tank with the water, and I would recommend to fill it slowly to keep all the powder on top of the soil. And before I start filling the tank with the water, I'm gonna fill the boxes with water first, otherwise they can float. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of water at the bottom slowly, just to cover this pile of soil with the water, and then I'm going to fill it slowly with the auto top off. Yeah, let's do it now. Okay, first I want to add a little bit of water at the bottom. Make sure you do it slowly so the powder stays on the soil. And then I'm going to add the water inside the boxes. Okay, here you go. We just finished filling this tank with the water, and the water became a little bit milky, which is normal from the bacterial powder, and most of the bacterial powder stay on the soil. So now all we need to do is to wait for 2 weeks, and then we're gonna do our first water change, about 30-50% of water change. The total time of the cycle is about 8 weeks. I would say 6 weeks would be okay, but normally I do 8 weeks just in case. The longer you wait is better, because we're using ADA Amazonia soil. Don't forget that this soil is leaking ammonia, and it's leaking ammonia for about 6 to 8 weeks. So we need, before we're adding our shrimps, we need to make sure that's this soil fully cycled and it's not leaking ammonia anymore. So to be safe, we're gonna wait for 8 weeks. Every 2 weeks we're gonna do about 30-50% water change. So I'm probably gonna do a second part where I'm gonna do a water changes and show you how is this tank doing, and also I'm gonna check for ammonia, nitrates, do some tests, pH test of the water. I'm very excited to see how this new version of ADA Amazonia works. I hope it works the same as the old one. We will see. In a couple of weeks I'm gonna check it for pH and see if it's low enough. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this little tutorial. I'm gonna keep updating on this tank. I'm probably gonna do another video, like part 2, how to cycle the tank, and I will show you the rest until I'm gonna put the shrimps into this tank. And I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.